Hello and welcome to my book nook where I talk about all things stories. I have an interesting video planned for this video, and I'm currently recording this introduction on December 1st. And you're not going to see this video, I think, until Christmas. So if this, either way, this is going up on the 24th or the 25th, I think. So Merry Christmas. Um, the reason for that is because I have been seeing a lot of YouTubers talking about this book, and the idea was so interesting to me that I couldn't help but get it. And that is A Heart for Christmas by Sophie Jomain. Um, it is an Advent style kind of book. So there are 24 chapters, and each chapter is like sealed. And you open a chapter, so like within each of these pages. Sorry, I don't. I'm dog sitting at this point. I'm here like every month, so you should be familiar with this at this point. But so I don't have my tripod, but you can see like these are just individual chapters, and you open a chapter and you read a chapter a day. And I want to read it the way the author intended it to be read, which is the chapter a day versus like reading it all in one sitting or as much as possible. I don't know if like how I'm going to feel about that process in general. Like if I'm going to like the process, if I'm not going to, what that is. And then also, this is where it's also really risky. There's two things. One is that this is a YA book. So this is it's a romance, but it's like a YA Christmas romance. I don't really read YA anymore. Um, I just struggle with the characters. So yeah, we'll see how I get on with that. I'm hoping because it's like light, fluffy. It's a Christmas romance. Like there's like hopefully not going to be too much school drama because it's set in this Alps. So I'm hoping it's not going to be too like I can still read YA. I'm just very particular about it. So that's also gonna be an interesting challenge for me as well. But also, I am really curious to see what I think about this book. So this book was originally published from looking at where did it go? I definitely saw okay, maybe it's in the back. Oh, it is in the back. So the copyright page and whatnot's all the way in the back. And it was originally published in French, in France in 2023. I don't know if it was indie published or if it was just like that was like a French only one or whatever. And then in 2024, it was published in Canada. The English translation was copyrighted in 2024, but this is the first time it's been published in the US. So the first time it was published in the US was September of this year. And you can tell because if you go onto Goodreads, all like there are reviews from going back to like 2023, I think, for sure 2024, but like there are reviews there, but they're all in French. I wasn't sure originally looking if it was in French or Spanish, but I knew it was one of the two because I've learned parts of both languages, and I was like, I know these words. I just didn't stop to figure out which one it was at the time, and now the book told me they're in French. And like at least scrolling through, I couldn't really find any in English, so I had to like translate the reviews in order to read them, like because they were all in French. And the rating, as of time the last when I bought this book, it had I think it was like a 2.3 or a 2.4 on Goodreads, which is not good. That is low for Goodreads. I think anything usually under a 3.5 on Goodreads is low. So I'm really curious to see what I think about it from my general consensus, from what I've seen from the reviews. Because, like I said, I translated, so I only got through so many before I was like really tired of having to translate everything. Is I think I saw some pacing issues. We'll see. But also, a lot of people struggled with the main character, that she was just written too young. And that it felt more like she was written like she was 12, 13 versus like the 18, I think, that she's supposed to be, or something along those lines. So I'm really curious to see what I think about it. And also, like, I wonder if there's going to be any differences, like, because it's been published, in English in the US, like if there were any. I doubt there would be. I'm assuming it's the same story, but I'm really curious. Amazon has like a 4 point something review of this book. However, like most of those reviews are just people like really excited to read it or loving the concept or whatnot. So you know what? I'm gonna take this journey. This is going to be a book that I'm going to read one chapter every single day, the way it was intended. So today is the first. So we'll get past this title page. But I'm going to either get a ruler or see if my mom has a letter opener, just very carefully open up chapter 1, and I'm going to read chapter 1 today, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to update you guys on it, and it's going to be good. Could I get away with not having a bookmark? Probably, but I have one anyways. And that's Young from ATs. This is the In Your Fantasy specific little photo card. Also, it's about these penny sleeves. They're a little bit big for my taste, but it is what it is. I realized I don't have any Christmas bookmarks or photo cards or anything like that. So this was the best I had, was because it's red. Don't ask about my logic on that. That was just the best I could come up with a bookmark for this. Like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to need a bookmark, because like if I read each chapter like in one sitting instead of like reading part of it and then going doing something and coming back, I would need like a bookmark. But these chapters don't look to be too terribly long. I have no clue how many pages are in this, because like they're all sealed. So there's no way of knowing how many pages are in it because it's completely sealed. I mean, I could just go on to Goodreads or Amazon and figure that out, but it's all good. So yeah, I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to come back and I'll update you guys on day 1. Alrighty, so I just opened up chapter 1, and I just did it like with my hand, just very carefully. There's only a minor casualty, but got chapter 1, and it is 17 pages long. But like, what's so interesting is like literally all of the pages are connected. Like, that's so weird. I only thought it was the like the pages, separating, but no, it's all of them, which might be why they suggested the ruler or the letter opener. So when I get home and have my actual letter opener, this will be much easier. But we're just gonna do this by hand. But it's weird. That's kind of cool. It's 10 minutes later. 10 minutes and 4 seconds. That is how long it took me to read the first chapter. That's it. I was really curious to see how long it would take me, like, of actual reading time to read this book. Partly just looking at the way it was formatted, and the writing style. I very quickly realized, yeah, this is going to be it's not going to take me any time at all to read, like, each day. This is I don't know if it's a translation thing or if this is just the author's writing style. This is a very simple writing style. The way it's written feels younger. It does. It feels like the writing style that you would have for a middle grade or a young YA. I definitely see. And the way she writes the character, if you didn't tell me how old she was, which they mentioned multiple times in this first chapter, mind you, I said there's 17 pages. No. Chapter 1 ends on page 17, but it doesn't start until page 5. So there are 12 pages. And one of them, or like two of them, yeah, one or two of them have this like text message exchange. I'll just show it to you. Like, it takes up a ton of space. So like, it's not, actually a full 12 pages. And I don't know if it's just because it's been a while since I've read YA. I don't think it is, because I used to read a lot of YA. And I read the Hunger Games trilogy earlier this year, I think in like August. So I've read YA recently. It definitely feels very young. The character, the way she is also written, age-wise, that's where I was before I went on my tangent. If you didn't tell me how old she was, I would have. I agree with the comments. She just feels like she's like 12, 13. It does not feel like she's 19. The way the mom treats her, granted, the main character, her name is April. She has like a bad heart. She was born with a bad heart, and she had a heart attack at 16. You learn this in the first chapter, but also I'm pretty sure it's basically on the back or whatever. She's got a bad heart. She had a heart transplant, and so she has to be very careful, like with what she does, um, and whatnot. And she's 19. Her mom babies her. Like, it's not even like oh, you have to be careful because this medical. No, like she like babies her. Like, like no, like you can to some degree as a parent. Like I am a parent, right? And I can understand to some degree, like definitely, wanting your child to be careful and being paranoid because that's a lot and whatnot, but also like she's, in my opinion, she is treating this 19-year-old like she's like 5 or 6, and she didn't have a heart attack until she was 16. She should at least be treated like she was 16, not 6. But I digress. This is just the first chapter. It's interesting. This is definitely one of those books where if I read this just off of the first chapter, I would not continue. Just because I don't vibe. Like, the writing style is not my favorite. It's easy. It's fast. Like I said, 10 minutes. Like, it's hard to beat that. And I can see why some people, like, binge read it. Because it is an easy, fast read. But, yeah, it's... We'll see. I don't know when we meet the love interest, but this is an interesting one. That's for sure. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I started reading day 2. And, oh, I forgot to start my timer. That's fine. I could technically restart. I'm, 2 pages in. We start with a text message exchange with the mom that goes absolutely nowhere. Like, I mean, I am willing to be proven wrong, but this feels like, I mean, granted, the artwork is really pretty, I will say. But like this entire page, this conversation feels like it doesn't add anything to the story. I don't know if it's just like the way I have like learned, the art of storytelling and whatnot, but it's just like everything you write to some degree is supposed to help propel the story forward. Like either by like telling you more about the characters, the setting, the plot, something that told me not. It was the most generic conversation. Like it tells me nothing. Like if you remove it, it doesn't affect anything. Personally, in my opinion, I'm willing to be proven wrong with the rest of this chapter, but right now I feel nothing. But like again, I'm on the second page of this chapter, and I just get to like the main character, April. She goes downstairs and she sees her dad. They're to go make coffee, and there's literally a sentence that is, "My Italian coffee pot is being repaired, but I found the old filter machine if you want." Why did he have to specify that it was an Italian coffee pot? Like, I understand it's a different type of like coffee pot because it's more like the like stovetop or like counter ones, but like it just, for some reason, to me it's coming off as slightly pretentious because like they have made a point to say that this like their chalet that they are in is like the biggest one in the village and it's the most beautiful and it's like yada yada, and so it just feels pretentious. We just started and it just oh, this is gonna be an interesting month. But yeah, no, I just, there are already certain responses that I'm just like, this feels pretentious. So I see Chris Hemsworth his name. I just flipped through a couple pages and I see Chris Hemsworth's name. So this is gonna be an interesting. Will update you when I finish reading this chapter. I'm back on the next page. I didn't make it very far. I literally next page. The dad's running late and he looks at his watch and literally it says it right here. Holy moly, I better go. This man, I think, is in his 40s or 50s. No, but who says holy moly? I understand that this is a YA book, but why? Trust me, teenagers do cuss. Or you could have just cut out the holy moly bar, but it could have been a mumble under his breath, something, but holy moly! Oh, okay, we're continuing. This book is for children. This book is for children. This is not for an adult. All right, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. So this vlog is probably apparently going to be me also quoting and reading you quotes from this. Because, like, it's the way things are worded. I don't know if this is a translation issue. Like, that's the problem with, like, translated works sometimes, is you don't know if that's the translation, like, issue or if that's the way it's written. Um, but, like, literally, mind you, the main character is 19. She's talking to her dad. Um, she is French. Like, it's not like an American who's coming to visit France. Or, no, 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 like, this is her country. And literally the quote is, "Sweetheart, I'm sure it's not news to you that legally in France, backcountry skiing can't be banned because that would go against our right to the freedom of movement." That just is like so info dumpy. And also like the fact that they had to put in France, like we don't know, like I just I just wish there was a little bit more nuance. Just a little bit more nuance with the writing, but that's okay. I'm gonna finish. I am almost done. Like, this is the end of the chapter. We're gonna finish it, and then we're gonna come back and talk about our full thoughts for day 2 and chapter 2 of this fun reading experiment. I finished day 2, chapter 2. And so far, it's basically following the format because she's there for like 3 weeks. Like, they say 3 weeks, but she's there for 25 days. That is definitely longer than 3 weeks. She's dropped off on December 1st, and she's getting picked up on December 25th. She's getting picked up on Christmas, which is basically, if it, the way I can already feel that this story is literally, each chapter is each day she's there. Which is, again, really interesting to think about, like, in terms of like your reading experience, because like I think it was last year I read, I think it's called Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey, and that is also a Christmas romance story, but for adults. Not for young adults, not for this audience, not at all. And it starts, I think, kind of December 1st, if not like right after Thanksgiving. Like, it's like in December and it ends by Christmas. It's a short time. They also tell you the dates. And so I kind of, not as strict as I did it with this, but I did kind of read that in the general timeline of the book. And it was cool. It was a cool experience and whatnot, which is why like I liked the idea of this one, but it being literally an advent calendar where you have to open the pages and it's every single day leading up to Christmas and whatnot. I liked that idea. But like, at least with the Tessa Bailey one, it didn't feel like as episodic. Um, and also so little has happened. I don't know if it's just because I am so used to different types of books and whatnot, but it's just like, so far we're 2 chapters in, we're 31, what are we, 31 pages in? We are 33 pages in, according to page count. Obviously, it starts on page 5 for the actual story time, but 33 pages in. And I feel like nothing has really happened. All I know is that our main character, April, had a heart transplant. Oh, and we did meet our love interest, Augustine. We did meet him in this chapter. It is a best friend's brother kind of romance. So we did meet him, but it's just, I had to look up to see how old Sophie Germain was, just to see, like, is she just like a newer author? Is she super young? What is it? No, she's definitely not super young. She's been publishing for, from what I could see, 15 years. Like, she started in like 2010. I think I saw somewhere when I was trying to Google her, I think I didn't continue going in multiple sources to cross check and reference this fact. But I did think I see one statement that said like by like 2011 or whatever, so basically 10 years, she had published like 25 novels or novellas or something like that, like, and 3 short stories. Like, there was a decent chunk of writing in 10 years. But this just, I know this is for YA, but it feels so young. Like, this to me feels like the writing that I did when I was first starting in 2006. I was 10. 2006. Dang. Yeah, so it feels like a young person wrote this. That is like, that's how it feels. Which there is nothing wrong with that because everybody has to start somewhere. But like for this to be somebody who has published multiple books, multiple books, this just feels juvenile in the writing. Not just like for the intended audience, but again, the writing style itself. If this was something that I had picked up at a little free library or my library or whatever, I absolutely would have DNF'd it by this point because it's just it the with how simple it is, it just makes it feel like you think the reader is dumb. And that they don't have any nuance and they can't. I was reading classics like Little Women and The Secret Garden and stuff like that when I was 10. Um, and so for this book, which is marketed as a YA, which means the target age graphics is 12 to 18-year-olds, this 100% is definitely on that lower age range of like, this is definitely targeted towards the younger YA range of like 12 to maybe 14. Um, that is also how old the main character feels. I feel like I would have enjoyed this much better at this stage if the main character was younger. Um, there is nothing wrong with having younger characters. You can still have like a romance, but it could all maybe this romance instead is like a first love kind of thing, a very puppy love kind of romance and whatnot. Um, because like so many kids like they dream about like the weddings and their first crushes and their first kisses and stuff like that, and you could have made a really cute book for that. um I don't necessarily know if they would have loved the Advent style as much, but like I feel like it just would have flowed better and it wouldn't have felt as jarring between knowing that she is 19 and reading the writing style and how simple it is and whatnot. It just, and again, it is translated, so it is very possible it could be a translation thing going on. But based off of the other reviews that I saw beforehand, it's very possible that this is just how it is written. Um, I'm going to continue reading this. It's not, I say all of that, but it's not bad. It's just not for me. I'm obviously not the intended author. YA books are not for adults. They're not written for adults. They should not be written for adults. Adults can read them, absolutely. But you shouldn't be writing YA books, teen books. That YA, we call them young adult, but they are for teens. That is what that age graphic is. We should not be writing YA books for a adult demographic. If you want to write for adults, you write adult books. It's not hard. Um, but yeah, it's just for some reason this isn't for me. But yet it's not bad. It takes me maybe 10 minutes to read a chapter. This is easily something I could have read in a day. Easy at this point. I think it also helps because it's the idea of like you have to stop after each chapter, and also because of the way it's formatted, which I have issues with how it's formatted as well, but that's just that. I think that's partly a publisher thing. But like it is a fairly big text on slightly shorter of a book, I think it's slightly shorter, but either way, it is slightly bigger text and bigger margins and whatnot. So even though it's like 10 pages, it doesn't really feel like that, especially if there's like a text message exchange because those take up so much space. So it's a really quick, easy read for sure. And I think by breaking it up into 24 days, I'm actually going to be able to read. And I'm really curious. This is already, we're day 2 in, but this is already, I want to do an experiment next year. I don't know what month I want to do it in. Probably towards the beginning to see if this is a new style that I'm enjoying, or what. But I kind of want to do like a month of like reading a chapter a day, like for my books, right? And like obviously, I'd have to like be careful with which books I'm choosing, but just the idea of like, okay, you read only one chapter of that book that day, and then you set it down, and you're not picking it up again until the next day. It also makes me wonder if I would read faster physically, like if I would get through, because I'm doing a lot of like reading ebooks and audiobooks and whatnot. I'm curious to see how that would affect my physical reading. So maybe I do leading up to it. I record, like keep track of like how much I'm actually reading physically beforehand, and then we do that challenge. Um, but I'd be really curious to see how my reading would go by reading a chapter a day, because like it's crazy because I'm like I read a chapter a day and I felt great because I'm reading it physically, which is something I really enjoy doing, but I haven't done as much as I previously had. Um, but I also feel like I have a bigger drive to keep going. So I don't know. It's really interesting. We'll play around with that idea. This vlog is going to be long enough. I cannot keep doing like 10-minute clips for each day because we are not making this a 2-hour vlog. So we're going to have to start speeding up these commentaries and whatnot. But yeah, that's it for day 2. I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. I just started chapter 3 of A Heart for Christmas? Yeah, A Heart for Christmas. I'm literally the second sentence in, and it says it's 23 degrees, like it's talking about how cold it is, and then says it's 23 degrees out. This book is set in France. Why are we using, I understand it was translated into English. Why are we translating and changing the degrees from Celsius to Fahrenheit? I know this is in French, like this was a French book, therefore it should be in Celsius. So tell me it's -5 degrees outside, not 23. Because if you go, oh, this is in France, it's Celsius. What's 23 degrees Celsius? Like 73 degrees Fahrenheit. 73 is not cold by any stretch of the imagination at all. And it's just one of those things where it's like, your readers aren't stupid. Just, I know that that particular bone is a translator bone I gotta pick with them, but like, come on, like, have a little bit more faith in your readers that they're not absolute morons. All right, let's keep reading. I don't know if it's because I am already critical of the reading and I've had issues or what, but there is just something that is happening with a character development choice that is irking me to no, like, to no end. I know. So our main character, April, she went out with friends, and she meets a girl named Margot and a guy named Jeff. There's, and then she's also and then April, a woman, and then there's Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy's the other person there. And some of the guys, when they're greeting everyone, say like, you guys, or hey guys, what's up, stuff like that. And Margot keeps making these comments of like, do I look like a guy? Like, how come you guys keep using guy when there's these girls around? Bro, that's a gender neutral, just kind of universal, hey, what's up, everyone kind of thing. It's like, y'all, it's like me calling everybody bro. Like, bro is also gender neutral. Dude is gender neutral. I mean, okay, bro is gender neutral depending on the context, but like me just going bro, like obviously gendered, right? But like saying you guys, that's it's listen, it's a choice. It's a choice. I would not have made that choice, but it's a choice. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. Yep. We can get through this month. We can get through this month, Lex. It's not as bad as you feel it is. It's not an awful book. It's not. It's just, you're not the target audience. So we are continuing with the thread that each chapter is each day that she's there. I just, at this point, I will let you know if that changes. I don't think it will. I'm on day 3 and I'm struggling. But the thing is like, it's still an easy, fast read. Like, I spent maybe 10 minutes reading that chapter. It's just, it's giving like fan fiction style, like quick first draft level young author fan fiction. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know. Now that I can confidently say that there have been changes made to this version compared to the original, I cannot 100% certain say that some of the things that irk me are the author's decision. Some of them could have been the translator and the publishers and whatnot. For example, um, the way it's formatted, some of the sentence structure, it feels a little funky and clunky. And again, that's kind of like the like first draft young author fanfic sheet and vibes. It could just be the translation. I don't know French enough to read the original and be able to compare it. I just wouldn't be able to do it. I also would not want to spend enough money to buy a second copy of this book, considering I don't know if I'm. At this point, I am. It is very unlikely I will be keeping this book past this year. So that way it can find a new home where it will hopefully be better loved. Because like I'm not rereading this, and my bookshelf. I mean, granted, right now I have plenty of book space, but for the most part, my bookshelf space is limited. Um, but I am still continuing it. Not just because I'm making a video of it. It's because it's doable. I read the bad fan fiction sometimes. It depends. It depends on how bad it is, but it's interesting. I can see what she wanted to do with it, and I feel like this has so much more potential that if it had gone through more rounds of editing, I think this story could have been really, really good. And as it stands now, it just feels, like I said, clunky, but unfinished. Um, and that's so disappointing. And I'm like, part of me really wonders like what her other stuff is like. Um, just like as a comparison and whatnot. And this is hard because like as I read and kind of critique things, I'm doing it from the lens of a reader who, you know, I've been reading my entire life. I've also been reading fan fiction since I was like 10. I'm turning 30 in February, by the way. So, you know, like almost like basically 20 years of fan fiction. And we're not going to talk about how I managed to find fan fiction at like 10 or 12. It's, yeah, it's a thing. Um, but then also I'm critiquing it as somebody who loved English. I took very like I paid attention in English class. I'm a writer. I'm an author. Um, I the fact that I am voluntarily going through multiple drafts of my own novels to get them to a point where I feel like they are decent enough to then pass off to somebody else to then critique and change and work on and then have me edit more drafts. Um, and keeping all of that in mind when I read, it's just an interesting experience. But also, like, this is a translated work, and when you get to translated works, some things don't always translate and whatnot. And it's interesting because, like, I have a Korean version of Red, White, and Royal Blue into English. I also have the Spanish version too. Eventually, I will try to read the Spanish because I am more familiar with that language. I took like 8 years of Spanish. And even flipping through those to look at how they're formatted, it's so fascinating because Spanish and English, for the, like from my memory at least, from the most part, they are formatted very similarly. Korean, absolutely not. Granted, it is with the Hangul, it's with the symbols and whatnot. It's not the Romanized characters and whatnot. So it's formatted very different because of the language. But French should be fairly similar to Spanish and English, just based off of what I've known from it and just how the language is structured and whatnot. But I feel like, especially because this is coming from Simon and Schuster. Yeah, This is coming from Simon and Schuster. They have the budget and the author or like and the editors and all that to have really polished this. I feel to make this a stronger novel. Like I said, it's not bad. I'm still reading it. I'm not going to tell you not to read it. Um, but I feel it could have been better. I feel like the potential is there. And it's just not what I would have hoped. But we're only on chapter 3. We're only 50 pages in. Only 50 pages in. Which is crazy to think that I'm on day 3 and I'm 50 pages in. But we're only 3 days into this 24-day challenge. And we're going to keep trucking along and we're just going to see how it goes. See you tomorrow for day 4. I am back home now. We'll be for a few days and then I'm going to be dog sitting again and then back home. But I finished day 4. I'm having the same issues that I've had the previous 3 days, but like I got through it. It was only a chapter. So it's not the end of the world. I'm still having problems with the writing style and whatnot. But is what it is. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to kill me. But yeah, I'm still struggling with it, but it's okay. We've got 4 chapters down, 20 to go. I'm going to go put on warmer clothes, and then I'm going to read something else. Something that is definitely more my speed. So I already kind of messed up. Oops. But so yes and no. I did read yesterday, but my kiddo was home from school sick, and so I read this while she was like napping, and I also was filming YouTube videos, and so I just forgot to record a reaction after filming. I meant to, and then just completely forgot. But I did read day 5 yesterday. I did. Like you can see, it's open already. Where? Let's just go to. Yeah. So you can see I'm about to start day 6. So I did read day 5 yesterday. I just didn't record anything. What happened yesterday? What happened to the chapter? Oh, our main character was basically propositioned by some dude we randomly met in the previous chapter that I thought we wouldn't, like, really wouldn't see a whole lot of and more in the future, but apparently he's there now to basically try to shoot his shot, and he got shot down. That's about the only thing that happened. Could have done with that could have done without that chapter, but it is what it is. We're now going to go to day 6. Maybe this is a good thing why I waited so long to report my thoughts on yesterday's chapter, because like I am in the middle of this. I'm still towards the beginning and I am already having struggles. First off, why are we 90 pages in and just now sort of starting to get to the plot? Like starting, I mean, I granted the pages aren't, but it's just, and then like the romance, the way it's being written about, it's like she doesn't know what writing style, like who she wants to write for. Like the writing style is very simplistic and very young, and the main character feels very young, and like the pretty much all the characters have very little personality right now. They're very bland, almost self-inserty kind of characters. um but then the way she's talking, like the fact that she mentioned like that, like the love interest or whatnot, he has like I think something about the sunglasses and tight red pants, and she doesn't know where to look, and something about a nudist colony, like in the next page over. I'm not flipping back to the last page to read it exactly word for word, but it's just like, why? Why did we need that exact verbiage in this book that feels very young? It's just like it's just like it. She doesn't know what age range she's writing for, and I struggle. I know that this is her choice. I just personally am not a fan of it. I'm struggling, y'all. I'm struggling. I know that not every book is for every person. This book is also not geared towards me. I am not the target audience, but I'm struggling. All right, let's just keep going. I finished day 6. Why are there text messages in every single chapter? Like, it feels like she's just putting them in there to take up space. Like, oh my gosh. Like, at least, like, more stuff happened in this chapter, but, like, I mean, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's not a choice I agree with, but it is a choice. But I can say, at least as of 6 pages in, I personally would not recommend this book. In my opinion, I think that just the way it's written, it just doesn't know what the target audience is, and I don't know what audience I would recommend for this too, which is part of the problem of like why I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Which, like, I know I made a video when I first started my channel saying like I wouldn't ever, like, necessarily ever come on and say I would not recommend a book at all unless it was like really problematic or something and whatnot. But this is kind of an exception, just because like I don't know who I would recommend this for, because I don't know the age range that I would recommend. It feels like with the romance, she's trying to make it like age appropriate, like the 19-20 range, like the young, like the new adult range. Like she wants to do that, but the writing style is just so young. Um, like this feels like the younger end of YA. And so I don't know what to do with it. We're gonna keep reading. I'm only day 6. I have 19 more days to go, which I can do it. We can do it. Actually, not even 19. I think it's 18 at this point. I'm not counting. Either way, I'm 6 days down. 6 out of 24. So yeah, 18. I have 18 days left. I can do this. I can do this. It's 1 chapter a day. It's 1 chapter a day, and then I can donate it, and somebody else can hopefully read it and enjoy it better than I can. But like, I am 99% certain right now that I am not keeping this book. Um, and I told myself I would not DNF this no matter what. But the further I get into reading this, the more I start to question that decision just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because, like any other book, like, I wouldn't hesitate to DNF. But because I'm doing this as a dedicated video, because I want to get the experience that the author wanted me to get by reading it a chapter a day, I want to know why. I want to know what that thought process was. And also the fact that this is like, oh, the idea, like, this is literally like each chapter, each day is also just a day for her too. So it's like, cool, this is what you did today. And like, I don't know. This is going to be an interesting wrap up video. I'm really curious to see how long this video is going to end up being. I'll see y'all tomorrow for day 7. I am now 7 days in. I've done this challenge for a week. You can see I'm also 100 pages in now. Like, you can see like the difference between these blue ones that I haven't, opened yet with the white of the ones that I have. And I really have nothing new to say. It's just the story also at this point, like, pretty much nothing has happened. Like, it's just, I don't know if it's just the way it's formatted or what, but it's just like, it's crazy to think that I'm like basically a third through this book and nothing has happened. Nothing. It's just, I don't know. I don't have anything new to say. Anything I say at this point would definitely just be me repeating myself and grumbling and mumbling and whatnot. So honestly, at this point, this vlog may end up being scrapped, or I may just DNF it because it's just if I reach a point where I'm like, there's nothing new for me to say. But yeah, I'm a week down. I'll see you tomorrow, I guess. Day 8, back at my mom's house. Anyways, we like 2 pages into chapter 8, and we have I'm not like other girls because, and I quote, things that normal girls my age probably wouldn't do. But hey, why be like everyone else? Also, yes, that was the full sentence. You understand now a little bit about what I was talking about, how the writing structure, it's a little wonky. We're just gonna keep going. I'm really trying not to repeat myself, but I'm struggling. I just finished day 8, and boy am I tempted to DNF this. And obviously, like, just have this video go up with it unfinished because, oh. So first off, there is a character who is kind of supposed to be like a potential love interest, but not really a what. And luckily, like, the main character, like, shows him, but God, he's insufferable. I know, like, no, that was just no. Oh, I would have decked him. I've never punched a person in my face before, but good God, if he did the things that he was doing to our main character, if he did that to me, I would have decked him. Oh, no. Dude, she already told you she was not interested. No means no. That does not give you permission, like, 2 days later, to pretend that you didn't know she wasn't interested. And then, anyways, like, the male love interest, he also finally told our female main character that he's also interested in her. And the other male character that we have at this age, he literally just broke up with his girlfriend in this chapter. So, like, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he also has a love confession with her at some point. But, like, this just April very much feels kind of like a self-insert kind of character. She feels like a Bella Swan from Twilight. Mind you, I loved Twilight. Even as an adult, I still like it. But I loved Twilight growing up and whatnot. And at least the love interest, because technically, in a weird way, she had 3 love interests as well. She had Edward, Jacob, and Mike Newton. But even then, Mike Newton was not this insufferable. Oh. Okay. The chapter's done. It's done. I'm gonna put it down. Tomorrow, we're gonna deal with tomorrow. And I'm going to read a chapter. I'm going to start reading the Mating Game by Lana Ferguson. I have my bookmark that I brought with me for this one. And look, it's Bunchen. Yeah! I love this one. It's such a good one. But yes, he's going to be my bookmark for The Mating Game by Lon Ferguson. So I'm going to start reading this, and then I'll get a chapter in, maybe, depending on how long it is. And then I'm going to write for the rest of this evening because this just makes me want to like chuck it across the room. But then I might damage my mom's walls or hit a dog, and we don't we don't subscribe to any of that kind of behavior. So tomorrow, day 9 feels really thin for some reason. But you know what? I'm not going to complain about it. I'll see you tomorrow for day 9. Good morning. It is December 9th, and I am coming to you with A Heart for Christmas by Sophie Germain. And I've made the decision. Part of it was because my best friend convinced me / encouraged me. I'm DNFing this. I can't do it anymore. I am DNFing this. As much as I would love to continue making this video, and this alone, like, stop, like, I read more of this book than I would have if I wasn't reading it this way. If I was reading this all in one go, I absolutely would have DNF'd this the first day that I read it. Because I probably would have given it a chapter or two, and then I was like, yep, nope, I'm done. The fact that I made it 9 chapters, or 8 chapters in 8 days, or whatever, no. It's not for me. I have said that before, and I'll say it again. Not every book is for you, and this is just one that is not for me. And life is too short to read books that you weren't enjoying. I have accepted that when I die, there will be books that I had on my TBR that I didn't get to read. And that's just a fact of the matter. So why waste time now? Like, I have never been one to like also hate read. Like, some people are like, oh, just hate read it and it's fine. No. There's no point. And so I am just going to DNF this now. I am going to let this find a new home, and hopefully somebody else will enjoy it. The Goodreads, I did double check as of last night. The Goodreads rating is 2.9. So not great. However, there are 4 and 5 stars in Goodreads. There is an audience for this book. There are people that enjoyed this book. I'm just not one of them. And so I am just going to DNF this. We're going to let it find a new home, and that's going to be that. So that also, I guess, wraps up this video. So if you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up if you want. If you don't, that's cool too. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.